What's up, Cities Skylines fans? I'm Socksway Up, and welcome back to another episode of Chillhorn, a Cities Skylines Snowfall DLC Let's Play series. Before we get too deep into this episode, I do want to remind everybody that we put in the description below a link to the entire playlist, so if you're new, you can check out the entire playlist, along with a link to our Discord channel or server, as well as a link to Twitch. We've been streaming on Twitch a lot. Everyone's welcome. Come on and join the sock pile. I think we're going to go with that. Maybe. All right, so we're going to jump into a overview of Chillhorn during nighttime. I think it looks gorgeous at night. We don't spend a lot of time in game with that. The high school looks great. Got that all leveled back out. We had a little bit of issue with some of the terraforming that I overdid in an earlier episode. These neighborhoods look great. I love it at night. I haven't looked at it in a while, so it was kind of nice. I accidentally had the day-night cycle rolling, and it went to nighttime while I was making some clips, and I thought, why not show it off? We got a mixture of houses at this point. We got, a tennis court over here in the middle of the neighborhood I forgot I put in. But we got some, self-sufficient homes over there. We got the big suburb assets here. And the earlier neighborhood you're looking at was just let the game plop down whatever assets it wants. It's been a nice combination. Today we're going to take a look at this low-rise apartment complex we started making on Twitch. I don't like the way it turned out. We're going to overhaul that entire thing. After that, we're going to take a long journey to another side of the map that we haven't been to before. Rumor has it, some of the locals have discovered oil in this area. We're going to investigate that. We're going to check out this area for oil. Who knows what will happen? With that being said, let's get this episode going. Alright, you can see this district is named Taco Town. We named that after Taco Money on Twitch. He redeemed some channel points and named the district himself, so we're going to keep that for him, but redesign it and make it a little bit better. So you're going to see here in a second, we're going to lay down a few pools. I wanted to design this entire apartment complex around the pools. I want them to be the centralized point that your eye pops to. I know, it's winter, there's a pool. It's heated though. We're pretending it's heated, we're going with that. I thought about trying to find some Steam assets on Steam. Assets that made the water look like it's steaming. I didn't get around to that, I have no idea if they exist. But one of the things I also start playing with here is using parking lot spaces or parking lot buildings instead of parking lot roads. I'm definitely starting to favor those over using the parking lot roads. I'm going to use both still, use a nice mixture of everything, but I don't know, I just really like the way the actual parking lot buildings turn out, and you can blend it in with buildings a little bit better. We'll see how it goes from here. But we're laying down these apartments. I kind of wasn't sure exactly what layout to go with, so I'm playing around with a few things, and we keep going. We plug away here. We do a nice square or rectangle shape for this apartment complex, but again, here you can see we lay down more parking spaces, trying to give the people access from the front of the road to get to their parking spots, and then they can walk to their apartments. Was kind of the idea I was going with. All right, who doesn't like a good entry sign to their apartment complex? I'm starting to get more comfortable with using props and using them correctly, I think, to make the city more realistic and give it a more, finished vibe. But here we're adding in more parking for these apartments. Eventually, we do add a lot more buildings that you'll see in a later cut. But I'm starting to finish with some more detailing. We're filling in the concrete here, making this area look complete instead of just having those spaces of snow where we're usually plopping down trees. I thought it made a nice blend into a full parking lot, and it kind of looks like a parking lot road with these assets. And Then here we're limiting, because we did use the pedestrian drivable pathways, we're limiting the vehicles that can go on there because we really want that to be for people walking, but I laid those down for allowing these buildings to, or the pool to plop onto that road correctly. I could have just, used Move It and dealt with the warnings or got the warnings disabled with some mods, but we went with that. And here I thought the pool asset was not complete, so we're adding a little more detail, a little more sitting area for people, a grill for people to maybe, barbecue while they're out by the pool, or even any time of year they just want to go outside and barbecue. It gives these residents some more opportunities to do some things like that. All right, again, adding on to the detailing that we're doing, we added some fences here. We're also staining the road a little bit to blend in that concrete where the colors change. Another thing I'm starting to do is wear out the roads a little bit. Seen that trick on a lot of other YouTube videos. It just makes it look complete. It makes it look so real. And then here we're adding in, some trash locations for the citizens to take their trash so they, don't have it piling up in the house. And we kind of just use Move It to repeat it. We're outlining it with a brick wall to make it look a little more complete, a little bit more detail, customizing these assets to make it exactly what we want for this new little residential area. Overall, I think Chillhorn is doing a good job of showing the evolution of the way I play Cities Skylines to you guys. I hope you're enjoying it. I'm starting to get a lot more into detailing. If you watch the Socktown series, I was basically saying detailing is my weakness. I find it a little bit boring and tedious. Not anymore. I'm starting to really get into it, starting to really enjoy it. And some of these assets, they come with, ideas for you. Like this one had medians in the parking lot that didn't have trees. So it was easy to just plop those down and add some more detail to it. And then here we're using some of the big decals to stain the road, make it look finished. Also adding some cracks to make it look like it's been used a lot. Like realistic parking lots, realistic roads do have those flaws in them, and they're not as perfect as some of these assets are in this game. I think it really takes it from a cartoon feel to making it look a lot more real, especially if you can get really good at adjusting the LUT settings and get those things just tuned in to make it look even more realistic as possible. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get this to look as real as possible for you guys, and hope you're enjoying it. So in this area here, we took a little bit of inspiration from an area in Alaska that I found on Google Earth. It doesn't turn out like for like at all. It's just, again, a little bit of inspiration to give me an idea of where to go with this oil industry. I wanted to show that off a little bit just to kind of get the idea of, so you guys understood where this is coming from, where this design came from. It was not initially my idea. I mean, I guess it was. I'm not sure what I meant by that, but yeah. So trying to take some inspiration off of real life places and get things going like that. So here we lay down three of these oil assets in the water, and then power things up, get it going, and we're doing a little bit of I just start laying down buildings to get the sizes in my head, and then I start adding the roads around it, as you'll see in a second. So here we have some of the oil tanks, and we're just gonna move them exactly where we want them after placing them down, and then we're gonna build the roads around them. And that's an approach I'm starting to take with some of these assets. Off the top of my head, I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember exactly the size of them, so designing the roads first is a little challenging sometimes for me. So getting them laid down and then moving them around to get them where I want is the approach I'm starting to go with. This area is not going to be lacking resources for sure. We lay down a ton of these in oil industry buildings. We get it all going. It's gonna upgrade to level 5 pretty quickly. And this is pretty much the opposite design of the way we did the oil industry in Socktown, where we did it very spread out. It was all over the place. It was a large area that had very few buildings near each other. This one, we get them close together. It's a very dense area. It's very compact. I like it a lot better, to be completely honest with you. We're utilizing a lot of the warehouse type buildings in this area so we can store as much of the resources as possible before they do get shipped out to their final destination. And here you can see that we are just moving the buildings around after we place them down and building the roads around them. And I think that turns out pretty good. Throughout this whole build, I was worried about traffic. Did not see any issues at all so far. I think it works out good having multiple options for the cars to get to and from these buildings, and they're just tight little circles or squares around them, and it worked out good. I think it looks nice. Let me know what you think. We do eventually start adding in more details, more parking lots here as well, but you can see we're adding more storage, more warehouses for all the resources and everything that is needed in this oil industry area. One thing I did notice while doing this build was these two freeways, the two main freeways of this map, they don't connect. So we're gonna have to build like a inner loop or something to get the two to connect. Right now, the regular Chillhorn area does not have any access to this part of the map, and we'll fix that later on. But you can see here, we're starting to add those parking lots, starting to get more detailing, more places for the employees to park, and I love the way these parking lot assets are coming together. It's looking great. We're finishing off this little square mile or whatever it is with all the concrete on the inside and making it look finished. I really feel like we're focusing on finishing areas instead of just getting the concepts down and moving on like we've done in earlier episodes. And I hope you guys are enjoying the more detailed builds that we are trying to do here in this series. And it's going to lead to a fun 2021. Wow, that's what next year is, where we're going to get even more detailed and more mimicking other cities and getting inspiration from places around the world and making even more realistic builds in the future. But here we start laying down the main way to get this oil out. We needed some trains, and again, this is way different than we did it in Socktown. We spread out our trains away from the industry areas, and I decided not to do that here. I wanted to have it tightly built into the industry area, like I've seen on a lot of maps while I'm studying Google Maps, trying to get, inspiration for these builds. It seems way more realistic to have them this close together. One of the things that kind of disappointed me, and we're going to come back to this area, I got rid of all my train assets for some reason, so I didn't have any real, I wanted to lay down a lot of old trains, like maybe broke down trains on these other tracks, so we're gonna get to that in another episode. This little section is unfinished at the moment, but we'll improve on it. And since this area isn't connected to the freeway at all, we had to lay down services. So we added a fire station, police station, some trash out here to let the area have everything it needs. I think it's its own self-contained area. We might add some small neighborhoods near this, kind of just as, residents that do work here that wanted to live closer to work so they don't have to travel as far. That is something I'm thinking about for this side of the map. It needs to be more than just a small oil area for sure. But here we're just finishing up some last details, some last touches on this area, filling it in completely, making it complete, making sure there's enough parking, enough places for people to drive, and yeah, we're getting it going, getting it finished up. Let you enjoy the rest of this, and we'll be back for a live play in a little bit. All right, as we jump into a live play here, we're going to recap what we did in this episode. I love the way Taco Town turned out. Instead of being that triangle like we started with, I love this design a lot better. I like the detail that we added into the roads with wearing them out a little bit, especially the parking lots, and the pools turned out amazing in my opinion. I was so excited when I found those on the workshop. Let me know what you think. You enjoying this new more increased amount of detail that we're doing? Words are hard. But yeah, I think it's turned out great. I enjoyed making this area. yeah, I'm pleased with it. As you can probably tell in my voice, I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. It's coming along nice. Chillhorn's coming along nice. A lot of good details here. I think these residents will enjoy their area. Now this oil industry, it's not complete. We got some more details to add. I unfortunately did lose a little bit of my detailing when I was removing rocks. I removed other details as well. So I'm gonna have to go back in and fill in some of those. Some of the crates, or yeah, some of the large crates or containers got deleted. Some of the pipes we laid down got deleted as well. Overall, I think it turned out really cool. Got some more work to do with the trains. But yeah, I really like the way this turned out. I'm enjoying the higher amounts of detail again, the increased amount of details. I have no idea how to word that, as you can tell. Yeah, ouch. Well, that's about it for another episode of Chillhorn. This one was a blast. I had a fun time editing this one. I'm really getting into my groove on using some of these editing tools and recording. I feel like we're getting a little bit better at recording the time lapses so they're easier to watch in high speeds. I hope you guys noticed that. I don't feel like the camera's jerking around quite as much as it did early on when I was doing time lapses. Trying to work on a lot of that, trying to get, an extra amount of detail going. The evolution of the way I'm playing this game is definitely showing in this series. Christmas is sneaking up on us. It's helping me get in the holiday season. I hope it's doing the same for all of you. Again, thanks for joining. If you enjoyed this video and made it this far, 21 minutes in, almost 22, thanks for joining and sticking it out. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps me out a ton getting our channel out there and getting more people into our community. Check the description below for the Discord. We're having fun chatting in there and showing off cities of what everyone's building and getting inspiration from each other. And if you are able to join some of the live streams, that would be fun as well, kind of chatting about what we're doing and what we're thinking. But that's going to wrap up this episode. Thanks for joining. I'm Socks Way Up. Have a good holiday season. Merry Christmas. And I'll catch you on the next episode of Chillhorn.